And then on day 2, literally the first fucking raid I did, I wiggled at a guy and he jumped up and down and he like head free look, and I was like, yeah. And then all of a sudden another dude ran over and he looked and he wiggled and we were like, yes, dude. We had like 5 randos and the whole day it was great. I think I had maybe one that was like a kill on site. I'm like, that degen, like whatever.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Pogcast, the show dedicated to talking about all the poggers things in life, like music, content creation, and video games. Today, with a heavy focus on the first-person shooter Escape from Tarkov, I'm one of your co-hosts, JesseKazam, an Escape from Tarkov content creator.
And I'm Veritas, just the fudgiest podcast co-host you've ever met in your life.
The fudgiest, man.
The fudgiest. If nobody who wasn't here the last 5 minutes know what we're talking about, but I was not long ago covered in chocolate. I was a chocolate frosted donut.
The dream. The freaking dream.
Yeah, unless you wake up in your bed the sheets are white and
there's frosting everywhere.
And you fell asleep with a chocolate frosted donut on your face, I guess somehow. It's probably still like, I'm gonna find chocolate.
In your beard 100%. Ooh.
Oh, so how's it going, buddy?
Man, it's been good. It's been a wild weekend. We got the wipe and been playing a lot. I mean, I'm sure everybody has been playing a lot of Tarkov and not doing a lot of anything else. So, but it's been really good. How about yourself?
Same. The first few days were good. I don't know why. Like, it's so funny. All these people are doing like these 24-hour streams and fucking they're going crazy. And there are people that are like level 40 already, or like, I think Desmond said he's like 37 or 34
Desmond,
or something.
He was 38 last night. I hosted him and I was like, you're disgusting.
Fucking yeah. And I've probably played the least Tarkov out of all of the people. I mean, that's all I've been playing, but I've just been like, usually I can go for like 10 or 12 hours, but 6 or 7 hours into the streams these last few days, I'm like, I'm fucking dead. And then I sleep for like 14 hours and I wake up and I'm fucking exhausted. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I'm just gonna get caught up.
It's been a crazy week. Man, there was a lot of like rumors going around that they were gonna surprise us with something big, because like it was really interesting. They did all the events and stuff like that. But the biggest thing for me was like how long the servers were down for. So like they went down at 3 a.m.
It was perfect.
Yeah, and they went down at 3 a.m. Eastern time.
I went to bed at 3 a.m. by the way.
I saw your tweet where you were like, the patch is about to happen and I haven't slept. And I was like, oh my God. And the past two or three patches, and I think one of those included a wipe, they said that the game was going to be down for up to 4 hours, and it was only down for like 2 to 2.5. Like the past few, they have ripped, which was interesting because traditionally it was always, it's going to be down for 4 hours, and then at the 4 hour mark, they say it's extended, and then at the 5 hour mark, they say extended again. Yeah. So the patch went down at 3. I got up at 3. And I was like, I'm going to take a shower. I'm going to get ready. I'm going to maybe make like a YouTube video, and then it'll be live. It'll be ready to go at like 5 a.m. and I'll start playing.
I checked on my phone, and every stream I went to was just people at the menu. I was like, yes,
I sat here from 3:30 to freaking 10, just staring at my screen, watching like Pestily just wait for the update to happen, which I wasn't mad about. Right. I wasn't freaking not salty or anything, but it was just funny.
You sound salty, dude.
I'm so freaking mad. It was funny, and then that definitely made me think like the last time the game was down for that long, I'm pretty sure was when we got reserve. It was like 0.12.
Yeah.
It was like 11 for a long time. So I was like, oh, maybe they're surprising us with something. Maybe not like a whole new map, but something. And there were definitely a lot of surprises in this patch, and we're going to go through a lot of them. A lot of stuff they didn't talk about that was in here, but it wasn't.
Still haven't read the patch notes. God damn it.
You're not missing anything. That's one of the things that's weird is that like, I don't know. It's one of the things that's weird.
We waited a day and we figured everything out.
Yeah, but it wasn't even. I guess to be honest with you, the flea market being at level 20 is the only thing in the patch notes that I was like, I guess they wanted to wait until we figured that out. There wasn't like mysteries to uncover that once we uncovered, they dropped the patch notes.
Yeah, but
there was nothing crazy.
You can find instantly when you start. You just hover over the button.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I think it's weird that they didn't give us the patch notes beforehand, because that was the only thing. The patch notes weren't anything crazy. But that's what I'm saying. Like, to start off this show, that's what I was saying. That's what's been so weird about this week. We had all these crazy lore-based events, and everybody was like, "Is there a wipe or is there not going to be a wipe?" And then at the final hour, they confirm it's going to be a wipe. And then the servers are down for like 8 hours, but then we didn't get anything crazy. And they're like, "We're not doing a podcast and we're not releasing patch notes for this." And everyone's like, "Oh, what's going to happen?" And then the patch notes are nothing. It's just been like, they're like really leaning into the conspiracies and then just kneecapping us every time. I'm like, you know what? There might be some credibility to this. They're like, "Nah, we just wanted to wait on the patch notes." And I'm like, dude, what the hell? They went so far off the reservation for everything. Pre-wipe, patch notes, podcast, but then on the back end, it seems like there was no reason for anything going. I don't know. It's been weird. It's been super weird.
We need to stop attributing like clever, cunning planning
100%
for like chaos and confusion.
You're 1,000,000% right. Yes, every time. And it's funny because I try not to like live that way, but with how crazy things got, I started to lean down that road, and I'm sad at myself because I'm like, nope, they're just figuring it out as they go, and I don't want to be a guy that's like, this could mean that, and they're like somebody, fell asleep on their keyboard and forgot to press the publish patch notes button, In
order to have you need to think about it this way. In order to do like what a lot of people think they're doing, you need to have such a high level meta plan and foresight about what's going to happen so that you can put things here and put things here and
You're
put
so
things
right.
here. Are you fucking kidding me, dude? Like, there's no way that they knew about all those little things. We're putting it all together after the fact. We have to, like, in order to believe that stuff, you have to believe that that everything, all of the weird, confusing stuff, it was all perfectly planned and executed. It's like the whole. Oh no, never mind. I'm not even gonna fucking say.
The only reason why I entertained that thought though was because they have this new community manager that came over from Blizzard. And this was his first, and I was like, yo, maybe that dude got in there and was like, we're going to do this different.
Still setting up his monitor and his keyboard, bro. Like,
he is. You're right. You're not. No,
he's
in
still
hindsight,
getting up to speed with like
I
all
couldn't
the
agree
fucking
with you
processes, and you don't just jump in and
he's
be like,
learning
okay, cool,
Russian. He's doing Duolingo. That's what he's doing right now. No, I agree with you. I really do. But I let myself get a little carried away with pre-wipe. I'm not gonna lie.
Acceptable.
But there is quite a bit to go through. This has been one of those. It's been a really interesting wipe. Whereas for me, I feel like everything's different and nothing's different, and those two things are like really hitting each other. Where like when you look through the patch notes, there aren't big sweeping game-changing, game-altering things. But every time I sit down to play and every time I end the stream, something as somebody that's played this game for 3,000 hours and multiple wipes, I'm like, something's different. It's different. So we can start going through kind of everything. The first thing we have here, which is very understandable because it's this might be one of the bigger bummers of the patch, but we have the optics rework. I still to this day have used 3 total variable optics and like 3 total red dots. I've been super head down questing, not really being like, ooh, what do I have access to? Let me buy this and test it. So I can't speak from a lot of experience, but what are your thoughts on the optic rework going in?
So I think sometime soon, because people have been asking me like, what do you think? And in order to do that, what I need to do is like do what I did last time, which is have every single optic all at once.
Take pictures.
Take pictures in the exact same, like honestly, I went through and I took like 80% of the pictures, and then like I nudged like the W and the A key, and like it moved my character, and I'm like, I have to start over. Like I'm not gonna be able to get in the same place.
Yeah.
So like I just need to have everything, do it all at once.
Yeah.
And then I can really have a controlled like compare and contrast. I should probably do it on the same gun too. Like I had it on the SR25. I should probably do it on the SR25 just to remove one more variable.
Yeah.
So the first thing I noticed was, and one sec, let me turn you up just a tad. So the first thing I noticed was the MRS.
Yeah.
So the MRS is a tough one because half the people, like so many people don't know you can even change reticles.
It's crazy.
So they just assume because there's 4 options. There's a dot. There's like a bigger dot.
Yep.
Like a T shape, and then like a target.
Crosshair. Yeah.
Yeah, like a cross circle cross kind of thing. Now the first 2 dots, the way they work is it's kind of similar to how a lot of those like kind of holographic. I don't want, I'm probably going to say some wrong terms here because I'm not an expert on optics, but where they like it's not like it's painted onto the glass. It's like a reflection, so that where you change,
like the parallax or non-parallax optics. I don't know those definitions either, but yeah, it can wiggle depending on your perspective of the glass,
which in a video game is god fucking awful. Because you don't, because even if it's realistic, you don't have control.
Correct.
Over where your head and body and arms move. So it's just effectively like the dot is dancing from the left and the right and the left and the right. And it's like impossible to, which again, might be realistic, but we'll get into that whole nuanced discussion after this. But the first 2 dots were always mega floaty. The 3rd and the 4th settings, the key and the crosshair, were right in the middle and they didn't move.
Yep.
So if you use the MRS, it used to be great on those last 2 settings in a lot of different cases. What they did, and this kind of flows through a lot of the optics, is they made all of the reticles themselves like fuzzier, blurrier,
most of them
less precise, which is kind of the opposite of what we wanted for a lot of the scopes, because a lot of the thing. Overall, there's a lot of scopes that were like better than they are in real life, different than they are in real life, unrealistically good, unrealistically bad. But what we wanted, and kind of what Nikita talked about, was just like usability and consistency across all of them.
Yeah. Yes.
So, and part of what he hated was that everybody used the PK06 and it was the meta, even though like it's a trash dot.
Yeah.
But
he made sure that's not the thing anymore.
Yeah. The only reason why was just because so many of the other optics, they had blurry dots, or they were just like, they were either super expensive, or they looked like shit, or they didn't work at night. Like all these other things that I think were just implementation details. They weren't like realism attempts or anything. They were just like, like the ACOG was in the wrong spot, that kind of thing. So now the MRS is wicked fuzzy, and the 3rd and 4th settings bounce around as much as the first 2. So the MRS is essentially useless. Because it was already not super crisp. Yeah. But it was crisp enough. Yeah. Now it's huge, blurry, gross, and it wobbles all over the place, which coupled with some other changes we'll talk about later, makes using it nearly impossible. Yeah. The PK06, it doesn't wobble around, but it's blurry and it's ugly and it's fat and it's gross. There's a lot of the holographics like EOTechs, and there's a couple of new ones. Those are all fine. They're crisp, clear, great. They look great.
Clear.
I've heard they look good at night, which are like NVGs, which I think is cool. Yeah. I don't know how realistic. I don't care, but that's cool that like you can actually fucking use them. I heard there's a bunch of changes with iron sights. I haven't really used anything other than like the irons on like the AKs and like SKS, which have not changed.
I haven't noticed any iron changes.
So one of the first things I noticed was the ACOG. So I had the ACOG, but it was on day 1 on the M4 on the carry handle because I didn't have the mount for it yet. And it was like great. Yeah. So I was like, okay, maybe it's because it's on the carry handle because it's like further back than normal. But I just clarified yesterday that it's not. Like the ACOG it's not as good as my picture, but it's like because before we had the way it looked, which was like tiny. We had what I photoshopped, which was like huge, probably a little too big. Yeah. And then it's like maybe 40% of the way towards like my huge thing. So it's an improvement.
It is definitely an improvement. And I suspect the ACOG still won't be meta because I think what they did was like, because I was talking to Desmond about this because once again, I don't have the money or the traders leveled up to try everything, but he's tried a Voodoo, and I noticed you haven't put it on your list here. Have you tried a Voodoo yet?
I have not tried the Voodoo. I've tried the Burris Full Field.
Oh, okay.
And that's basically, as far as I could tell, no different.
Yeah.
Like the Burris was like, it had kind of a little bit of a chunky circle, but it was like still okay because it had like a nice thin It might have changed a little bit the size, but like I wouldn't have remembered exactly.
And that's
it's usable.
That's what I think. I think like the Voodoo took up so much of your screen. Like, you know what I mean? And I think they shrunk that down a little bit, because I think that's what basically he was saying, was like he wants to make everything consistent in its field of view, or at least more consistent. So I think like the Voodoo got smaller, things like the LCAN got a little bit bigger, and the ACOG. The LCAN
is where it's fucking
The LCAN is so crispy right now. It's so
nice.
The
LCAN was always like third or fourth on my list.
Me too.
It was totally serviceable, totally usable.
Me too.
But now, so far, it's number one.
Bro, let me put a red dot on the LCAN. I still don't think you can.
Oh, yeah, I haven't.
You double click on the LCAN, and the mount thing has been there forever, the whole time. As long as the LCAN has been in the game, you double click on it, and there's a mount slot, but nothing fits. Ugh, come on.
Yeah. I don't know how complicated that is, but yeah. So the iron sights look good on it too, because they changed something with, especially with the HHS2. That's another one where it has like the holographic 1x, but then also like the 3x.
Oh yeah.
I think before, because in my video, my optics video, I showed how it zooms in like 2/3 of the screen. It used to do that for the backup little iron sight, as well as on the EOTech 1x. It doesn't do that as bad now, which to me, like, I didn't even care that it zoomed in. Me, like, zooming in too much is not a problem because I'm blind and I can't see shit. So like I'm fine with that.
I liked the FOV pull on the iron on the LCAN because it was incredible for spotting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're like, you've got, your optic is low, you've got a really wide open thing here, it's pulled, and you could spot, and then you switch it back to the LCAN, you can take a shot. On the HHS1, or I think that's what it's called. Is that the EOTech with the flip down?
Yeah. The circular with the 3 dots.
I hated on that optic that it would bring your FOV from whatever it was to like, I mean, all the way zoomed in for the 1x and the 3x.
You've got your chin on the rail.
100%. Now it actually it's the same amount of FOV pull as a just standard 1x optic on the 1x. When you click to the 3x, it pulls your FOV in the same amount, or at least it seems the same amount. And I've only used it for like 6 seconds. So I don't know how I feel about that. The jury's still out. It definitely makes the 1x usable on those for sure. And I don't know how much I'm going to like or dislike the pull in when I want to zoom in. I still think I feel like I would want it to stay the same and not do that and just flip the thing down. But I'm interested to see it.
The problem I had with it was everything was fine. The zoom in, the pull in, like none of that really mattered to me. It was all perfectly fine in like a close up situation.
Yeah,
is when I was using the 1x. So like, it wasn't a huge thing if like someone is in a doorway popping in front of me and I'm on the 1x. I'm gonna be like spraying in the doorway anyway. Like I don't have to see. I've gotten kills like that with the Voodoo at 6x before. You know what I mean? Not being able to switch. But the 3x it used to be not very usable because it was so small.
Yeah.
Now it's even worse because it's the same size, but if you move at all,
the
eye black relief, fucking ring, eye relief, it's garbage. Now on that note, I this is something I've been saving for the podcast because people have been asking me every fucking day, and I'm like, I talked about it a bunch. What the argument that always comes up, because we just talked about all these things, all the caveats about like usability and what the goal was and consistency and everything, and what people always end up saying is, oh, well, the MRS or the PK06, those are like airsoft things, so they should be shitty. And it's like, okay, but that's not the point. Because the point of the Optics Rework wasn't... We had a bunch of things that were up here in terms of usability, and a bunch of things that people wanted to use that were down here in terms of usability. The whole point was to do this and bring everything up to the point of usability. Maybe even these down a little bit, right?
But mostly...
What they did was they improved a couple of things that didn't really need improving, and then they ruined a bunch of the things. So overall, it brought the average like usability of the optics, I think, in a whole down. The Valdez shit. I forgot to mention the Valde. It's the eye relief is garbage, and I get that it's realistic. But here's something that I want to touch on real quick, because there's a lot of elements of this patch and the wipe that touch on the idea of something we've talked about for a long time, which is if if it was harder to aim, like people always talk about nerfing these bullets or nerfing the armor or whatever. Nobody ever talks about like it's too easy to hit your target.
Yeah.
Especially when you're moving, you know, like it's a lot harder to get a fucking sight on someone while you're moving and while they're moving and hit a moving target. In this game, it's too easy. So it would naturally extend fights if you basically nerfed everybody's accuracy by making it a little bit harder to aim. Now, I think a lot of these optics reworks, they do that, which in a vacuum would be amazing for the game. Because what it would do, like the early wipe combat has been fucking dope. Again, like I get in so many fights where I'm wearing a P.A.K.A. and it's like a 20-minute fight with like 5 people. And it's like, it's fucking amazing, it's so dude. Good. But I'm worried that if they have like 2 optics that are usable, then it means that that will be the meta.
Yes.
And nobody will be like, there's problems because we got so close to making it so that like combat was more realistic and harder and lasted longer just by the nature of the fact that like if all the optics had the eye relief issue like all optics do, you had to be steady and everything like that could be cool because it would just be harder to strafe spray. But as soon as there's like 1 or 2 choices that don't do that, that means that's what everybody's going to use.
It invalidates everything.
It invalidates everything. So now not only are things not consistent, or if they are, they're consistently bad, but there is still a meta. It's just going to be LCAN instead of PKO6. And the issue with that is it actually makes it even worse for new players and for casuals, because what happens is they're not going to know all this super secret information that we just talked about, all the fucking scopes that we just ranked on the meta scale. And it means if they're not using the 1 out of 30 optics, they're at a humongous disadvantage and they don't know it. But they're already running, like a month from now when we're all running level 6 shit and they're using PRS ammo in their stock AKs with shitty holographics, and they have level 1 recoil, it's going to be impossible for them to hit us, and when they hit us they're going to do no damage. So I'm worried that this is going to really make it fucking terrible for new players.
The question is there meta optics? Because I haven't used them all. Like even the LCAN does have that eye relief when you lean, when you sway back and forth. Now I don't think it's as bad as the Valde, and I think that's kind of the point of what you're saying is like
I didn't notice it at all.
Keep it consistent. Oh, I did. Like as soon as I grabbed it, I did the wiggle ADS, and you get the shadow, the black shadow. It's and like to your point, it's definitely not as bad as the Valde. That clip you sent me,
it's was ergonomics related too.
Maybe
because a lot of that has to do with weapon handling and the ergonomics. To where if we had meta guns, like the problem is I should have reset my account to like level 1 and done a bunch of testing with the stuff too, because you know it's hard to know what things look like when you know when you have all these other factors where I have a gun that has this grip so things come up really quickly, and then also it doesn't move as much when I'm moving, like whereas we're putting them on a stock AKM with a rail on top, and then we're going blah, 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 and we're moving, and it's fucking everything is it's not even remotely comparable.
That's very true. So that's my question is like I haven't used an optic or a dot yet that I would say this is the new PKO6 or the new Voodoo. That doesn't mean they're not out there, and I completely agree with your point. Like there only has to be one. If there's one new meta optic, it invalidates everything. It means 3 weeks from now, you will start seeing that, and you'll start seeing more of it every day. And then 2 months from now, it will be the only optic. And all the work the guys did, all of the exactly like you said, in a vacuum, it's amazing. Pushing fights, extending fights, nerfing our accuracy, rewarding things like being stationary in a position that you know is advantageous to you, that you can get a kill. All of that is amazing. But if there's one optic out there that I can jiggle peek, lean peek, 360 no scope on a crisp, steady reticle, it means that's all that's going to be used, and everything else is gone. So
there is.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't used. I don't know what it is. I don't know what dot it is. I don't know what red dot it is.
A lot of that comes to preference, but like the Delta Point and a lot of the like really compact ones that you can like mount on top of other things are. They don't move. They're crisps. It depends on if you like a triangle versus if you like a green dot, you know, so there's like different things, but pretty much all the holographics and a lot of the micro dots are.
I was using the RMR last night. I felt so good. I was using an RMR on top of an ACOG, and I was like, I've been waiting for this moment in Tarkov for so long. The RMR is a really crisp dot that dances a lot. At least on top of the ACOG, it moved so much. So much. And so I haven't used a Delta Point yet. I saw like Seal was using a Delta Point. I looked at a stream. I was like, yo, Delta Point looks crisp. I loved the Delta Point before this. Like, my favorite optic combination was a Voodoo with the JP Enterprises mount and a Delta Point on top. That was because like the 1X of the Voodoo was totally like a 2X. So now you've got like a 1, 2, and 6. And I was like, oh, this
1.85X.
This was like
my calculations.
This was great. You know what I mean? So I like the Delta Point 4. It looks great. But I haven't seen the wiggliness of all these optics yet.
Yeah, I mean, there definitely are. There's a new holographic that has like a weird thicker base. It has like an outer base, like outer cover. It's really funky. And it looks really nice. I found it in like a box in customs and tossed it on my gun, and it was really good. So
I haven't used it yet, but Proper Level 2 sells a new optic. It's made by Valde, the company, and it's a red dot. And like in the flavor text, it says it was like made for competition shooting. So I don't know how.
Yeah, designed for. So that one, it's good. It's good.
Okay.
It's solid. It's clean. So that's not a bad one. There are. Again, so basically what they've done is they've had a bunch of the sites they've made really fucking shitty and annoying to use. So you'll only ever use them like on a scav, better than irons. But the fact that you have access to a bunch of other ones that are usable, even at level 1 with the traders and then level 2 shortly after, just means that like there's no reason to use any of these other things, which then puts us right back to square one, which is like you're always as long as you have things that are just obviously better than other things, you're always going to have a meta. And if Nikita really wants to get rid of quote the meta, then he just needs to make everything consistent and good.
Exactly. They either have to all be really good, really medium, or really bad. If you have a sliding scale, then you're just going to get to meta, which even that, to be honest with you, if 50% of them suck and 50% of them are good, and the 50% of them that suck are all the ones you can buy at level 1 and 2 traders, I could at least see that as being like, yeah, you use the crappy sites and then you get better gear. But the surprising thing is that Nikita talks so much about getting rid of metas, and it's like, man, changing the meta doesn't get rid of it. Like you're gonna be, when you watch people's streams, Nikita, and you get frustrated that all you ever see is a PK06, like you're just gonna pop on in a few months and see everybody using the Delta Point or whatever it is, and you're gonna feel the same way. It's like has to be consistently good, consistently bad, consistently average, whatever. But if it's not consistent, you're just gonna see a meta form very quickly.
Yeah.
So I completely agree.
The other thing that's related to all this stuff, and it's led to, I already have a lot of clips where I'm just like, this fucking game, where I don't know. These are all the things that could contribute to my frustration. It could be netcode. Yeah. It could be the durability of the guns leading to their precision and or the ammo and their precision. It could be netcode. It could be hit registration. It could be the fact that I'm moving, or my like with low skills. Yeah. Or that like maybe the optics that they've reworked, like the dots, are because they're kind of blurry, that maybe I'm like shooting a little high or something. Yeah. Or maybe they're off. You know how many times the optics have been like, why are my 9mm bullets going a foot above the dot no matter where I am? So there are so many times, dude. Last night, one of the last raids I did on labs, I had the MP9. Okay. I had two 33-round mags, 2 or 3 20-round mags, and a couple like 15-round mags, all filled with PST, because that's all I had. And I opened up the main gate, like with the garage above the thing, and I went to the right, kind of laid prone where I normally do as the door was opening and waiting for the raiders to come. And the MP9 has like no fucking recoil, right? No. I was EOTech dot perfectly on head going 33 rounds. The raider dies. Cool. Another guy comes. Nothing happens. I go behind the thing. I reload. So I've already gone through like 50 bullets, right? 2 mags. I peek out, go fucking another 20 bullets, a raider dies. All of a sudden, I think one of them threw a grenade and dropped it, and it blew up. And then I peeked out again. There's blood splattering everywhere. The raider stands there, and then I move behind the thing, and I get one-shotted in the head with like War Mage or something.
Yeah.
And then on the fucking reticle is like on the guy's head.
Yeah.
I'm 20 feet away from him. There's no recoil on the thing.
Yep.
And then at the end it said I made 23 shots, I think, and there were 4 hits and 2 kills. And I was like, wait a minute. I went through like 5 magazines. It said 4 hits. Like, are the hits because the first bullet headshotted him, and then like all the other bullets were just hitting his dead corpse and they don't count?
Oh.
Or like, what's going on? I have no fucking idea.
That's
so I don't know if I was missing because
weird.
And the gun was brand new.
Yeah.
And it was PST. I don't know how the accuracy of PST is. I haven't looked at any of the stats on the ammo or anything ever because they've never been useful. They probably might be a little bit more useful now.
I have felt a little bit of that. I was convinced that they like big boy nerfed M855 because like you get that MDR if you start with as a USEC, and you know a bunch of mags. 855 is the only thing you can get. And I was running, and I've got a bunch of clips where it's like Scav, and we're talking brand new MDR. You know, Scav's 4 feet. You know, you peek it and you go, and 6 shots in him in the head. You unpeek it, and then you hear him taunt, and you're like, wait, and you peek it again, and he's standing there, and I was like, and then he dies, and I'm like, chat, they nerfed 855, right? And then you look at this battle buddy, and it's like, nope, and I'm like, So I've definitely felt a little bit. Once again, like you said, there's a laundry list. Could be netcode, could be hit reg, could be what, I don't know. But
now it could be that the stats screen at the end is giving us bad information again, which makes it all worse.
Which is a bug that happened in the past. So I agree that like I don't know. I don't have an answer. I can tell you that you're not crazy. I felt that too. Not with raiders, like with freaking scavs, unarmored scavs. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
Yep.
Speaking of scavs, let's talk about Scav Karma. The first implementation. I love the notes you have here. It's so true. Day 1 bad, day 2 better, day 3 way better. It's very true. Day 1, it was so scuffed. I don't get it, man. I don't get it.
Well, because first of all, you have to think about how many people play the game, and might not be active on the Reddit or on YouTube or on, like they might just play the game like a. I know it's hard. It's really hard even for me to conceive of playing a game and then online and not being aware of like the meta or whatever.
Yeah, because that's just how we are.
They might just not have fucking known about the karma, and they've just been doing what we've always been doing, which is killing on site.
Yeah. Well, okay. So there's 2. That day 1 bad, day 2 better, day 3 way better cuts both ways. In the kill on site meta, it's exactly it was that, but also with the features of it. Every time that we get on here on this podcast and we get a little heated and we start getting frustrated and we start yelling that like nobody at Battlestate Games plays the game, and and all the comments say that this was one of those moments where I was like, you've been teasing Scav Karma for an entire year, and you're telling me nobody thought that it was a good idea that if I got shot and I killed that Scav, that I shouldn't lose karma? You're telling me nobody thought that in all the play tests, in all of the that's when I'm like, nobody plays the game. Like they fixed it quickly. They were timely about it, but it was I was like, no one in the meeting was like, hey, I think what'll probably happen is players will start to try and bait and farm karma by shooting other scavs, and as long as they haven't killed that scav, they're still non-hostile. And then when that scav tries to defend himself, nobody said no meeting. I couldn't believe it, dude. I was like, what's happening? Now they fixed it the second day, where now if you even shoot a scav, you are hostile, which is good. Now you can defend yourself and gain karma. That's really good. But I was like, that first day, it was like, don't scav, because you're not going to gain karma. You're going to get shot immediately, and if you try to defend yourself, you're going to lose karma, and it's weird.
So what happened for me on the first day was I was determined to try to like cooperate.
Yeah.
So I'd walk up to somebody and I literally hit Q, and then E, and then I would see them shouldering their rifle, and then Q, and then I'm dead, right? It was like,
over and
shit.
over again, yeah.
And I would instantly die. I got up to 0.6 karma.
Yeah.
Before I even shot a bullet.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that was like, there's so many elements to this. That could be that like for a while, if you don't kill anything and you don't do anything, like you're gonna gain karma if you don't kill. I don't know. I don't know exactly what all the parameters are. But yes, it like I died every single time instantly. Yeah. And then on day 2, literally the first fucking raid I did, I wiggled at a guy and he jumped up and down and he like head free look, and I was like, yeah. And then all of a sudden another dude ran over and he looked and he wiggled and we were like, yes, dude. We had like 5 fucking randos and the whole day it was great. I think I had maybe one that was like a kill on sight. I'm like, fuck that degen, like whatever. Yep. But and then the next day again, it was more of the same. Yep. It's been kind of hit or miss. It's hard because you have to think about like, you spawn in and you hear footsteps running at you and you're like, okay, the guy running through the door, is it a player?
Yep.
Which is like good to kill. Is it a scav that's aggroed other scavs? You can't possibly know.
You wouldn't know.
Good to kill. Is it a scav that hasn't aggroed? You would, but is going to aggro you, and like you're going to be the one. Maybe good, maybe bad.
You can't kill him yet. He's got to shoot you first. Yeah.
It's like you really have to.
Yep, 100%. And I like the
way
tension.
That it works, it really ends up being. And there's no way this was intentional. I mean, maybe it was, but I don't know. Like, now that I'm thinking about it, if you're playing like the fucking what's the game called, where it's like shit, like the Prisoner's Dilemma or something.
Like Russian roulette.
Oh my god, no. It might be the Prisoner's Dilemma. I forget, but it's basically like if you like tattle on the other guy, but he doesn't tattle on you, and then like yeah, I don't remember what the name is. I'm sure somebody in chat will say it. But it's like the best option, I think, if you cared about your scav karma, is to be friendly by default.
Yes, for sure.
Because like if you the fact that you get twice as much of a reward for killing someone you know is bad, than the penalty. No, it's twice as much of a penalty than the reward.
Yeah.
I mean, so like if you kill a scav that was innocent,
bad,
minus
you can
0.2.
ruin your karma.
Yeah. So and there's a couple times where it was like, I just want to take my time inside, a factory and loot and whatever. Maybe look for Tagilla, and and then it's like the first person runs at me and I kill them. It's like, well, I see that it's like your scav karma has. Now, see, the one thing about that message, it's useful, but at the same time, that's also kind of immersion breaking. Like that's way more immersion breaking than a teammate dot would be, because it's confirming kills. Like it's doing a whole bunch of other things where like
it's confirming kills. It's giving you information about the kill that you didn't have,
or it's a PMC.
Yeah, it's a scav. Like I was doing an interchange run and I ran into a scav on an interchange and I heard a bunch of fighting and I was like, ooh, yes. And then like I heard a bunch of fighting, and then it went quiet, and then you hear the and I'm like, this guy's healing, and I'm crawling around the thing and I stand up and I have the split second. I'm like, did this guy kill an innocent or was he defending himself from a bad scav? I stood up and I blasted him in the face and my karma went up and I went, ooh. But yeah, that's
and then any
that's
other
immersion breaking. Yeah,
every other scav you see, you're like, oh, they're gonna trust me. So and then there's the other aspect of you're third party and you come and you see 2 scavs. You don't know which one's AI and which one's not, and their behaviors are that they're. If you play the game enough, you'll be able to figure it out.
Yeah.
But like to the untrained eye or in the moment, sometimes it's like, is this a fucking bot or not?
Yeah.
Because they'll like look at you and then they'll wiggle. And then I walked up to one and he went and turned his head to me.
Yep.
The best part was that he had a fucking Jason mask. I walked up to him and I was like, follow me. And he just slowly turned his head and I was like, oh my god, like this is horrifying.
Yep.
All day yesterday, I don't know what happened. I killed a few scavs. Now my loyalty is at 1.02.
Yeah.
With fence. So it's the highest it's ever been. And now all of a sudden, whenever I go up to scavs and I do the wave, every one of them 100% of the time says, nah, fuck you. Like they all do thumbs down, and they all say no. And it's like, but then sometimes they still follow you. So that was a problem where the guy's like, no, fuck you. And then a hostile scav came and I killed him, and I was like, okay, cool. And then I heard footsteps again coming towards me, and I shot, and it was like the guy that I told to follow me was following me, but he said no. And I'm like, oh shit. Well, now
That's super interesting.
You know, so
yeah, I like excuse me, I like how it's really easy to lose karma, and it kind of doubles down, right? Because if you kill a scav, all the other scavs in the area are now aggro to you. That's always been how it is, right? Like that's always been targeted. You kill a scav, so now even to just stay alive, like if you saw a scav with a 133 shotgun and you wanted it and you kill it, and 6 other scavs are aggroed on you, if you have to kill those 6 other scavs, you are destroying your karma. You know what I mean? So,
you might as well just jump on a nade.
Yeah,
like, at that point.
Or you have to loot up really quick and run away from that area, which is better as well, because that means if you're a friendly scav, you might not, like this dude might not just camp the area and wreck his karma. He might get what he needed and then dip. So I like how it's structured, so it's doubly penalizing to be bad, because you're going to destroy your karma, or you have to get out of that situation really, really quickly.
The hard part is the ambiguity, though.
Yeah.
You roll up and you see 2 scavs shooting at each other, and one kills the other. Do I kill the survivor?
Yeah.
Or not? I don't know.
Exactly.
And the only way for you to know, like, there's something fundamentally kind of busted with.
Yeah. And now
like they either need to
you get the confirmation,
put a fucking red silhouette over them and make it even more immersion breaking, or they need to change the way.
Or
it's
if there was like if there was like a comm, like a certain comm that somebody would always yell if a regular scav killed a non-hostile scav.
Oh, threat eliminated.
Yes, like in the dark zone in the Division, if you killed another player, you went rogue. And it was like a sound that happened, and then everybody else got a rogue player in your area thing. And that obviously that's way immersion breaking. But if you're watching 2 scavs fight, if there was a specific comm that always happened as a like I'm rogue comm, and if you could hear it, then that's the guy, he did something bad. Then that could be something that's better than now you don't know, you kill him and you either get the positive or negative confirmation in the bottom left hand.
That's less immersion breaking. Something that yells if you were like, fuck you, I'm on my own now. Like that that's less immersion breaking than the thing. I have no idea what to do in this situation, but I would in real life.
Exactly. With VoIP, this could be a really fun, interesting story, because then there could be deception and stuff like that. But I definitely agree, going back to what you're saying, dude, people were getting so salty at the kill on site meta on day 1. And I was just like, listen, 4.5 hours is not enough time to determine that this feature is busted. Like, obviously,
we don't even know what people don't even know what at this point what they're working
exactly
towards.
It's obviously busted in the sense that if I defend myself, I die. That's busted. But like, exactly, it was like, listen, there's 2 things. There's one, we've got thousands and thousands of players that probably don't know what scav karma is. They don't know how it works, and I know that because I 60 times a day on stream, I got people asking me, what is scav karma and how does it work? So it's like, we know there are players that don't understand it, and they've been playing the game for anywhere between days, months, and years with one thing, which was kill on site, on scavs. And 2, we have to let the negative karma play out, right? Like day one, I hop into a raid and I kill all the scavs I see. The next scav raid, what were my consequences? None. But like they pulled, I don't know if you've seen this stuff, they pulled and data mined some of this stuff. There's like non-visible levels of karma, like not just the like 1.0, although that might.
Oh, maybe that's like the fucking downvote.
Yes. So there's, it goes, you can be top tier karma. Your best karma is level 6. Bottom tier is negative level 7. At negative level 7, your scav cooldown is 600% longer. So you're only going to be able to scav every 2 hours at bottom tier karma. 600% longer.
I mean, probably about when as much as I scav anyway. So.
But if you're like a dick and you're just out to troll, you're not gonna be able to do it as often. The scav case in your hideout will take 500% longer for the scavs to return with your loot, which is, I like that because it affects your PMC, but not in a like lore breaking way because it's the scav.
And it totally affects all of the numbers around like profit per hour kind of thing.
Yes, putting in moonshine or putting in whatever. The paid extracts, the car extracts on your PMC are going to be 400% more expensive because the scavs drive the cars. It's all run by fence.
Yeah. I didn't know that when you as a PMC when you take
you can
the
gain
car
your karma.
extract,
Yeah,
you gain karma. I didn't know that. So
it's diminishing returns because it's way too much karma. It's 0.25 for taking the car the first time, but think about like it's diminishing returns, but over the course of a wipe, if you do 1,000 raids, you might do that 50 times. Yeah.
The fact that only like 3 or 4 of them are meaningful is fine to me. Like it's not like it cools down and then if you do it next week you get 0.25 again. You're only gonna get an OP chunk a few times in, like in a year. You know what I mean? Like,
and it goes down to a level similar to going into a scav and like killing another bad scav. You know what I mean? So it's still worth taking, but this is interesting. So this is what you're talking about. Bot follow chance. At -7 karma, there's a 0% chance a bot will follow you. At 0 karma, day 1 of the wipe, there's a 50% chance a bot will follow you. And at +6 karma, there is a 100% chance a bot will follow you if you ask them to. So
you can, it's like a fucking, it's like a goddamn build a little army NPC in Skyrim.
Yeah, you can build your little.
Wait. But can you do? I've never actually tried this. Does it work with more than one scav?
I think so.
You just fucking I feel, oh my god, it's like a Diablo 2 bone mage. Like wait, you didn't play D2, right?
No.
Fuck, anything you killed, you could like summon a skeleton.
Oh yeah.
So if like
you could do that in Skyrim too, yeah.
You just have like 8. That was the best thing, dude, when you're sitting there doing like farming Diablo and like there's one necromancer over there and there's just 8,000 little skeletons that are like ready to fucking kill, dude. Like
100%.
Oh my god.
Scav gear, equipment modifier plus or negative. So One Peg has been crushing this. He farmed it for the information. But like he's got level 2 fence. He's 6 karma. He's crushed it. And he gets armor every time. He gets a backpack every time. He gets meds every single time. And it's a rightful class weapon every single time. Every time. And so I'm assuming.
Okay, and then what can he buy from? What can he find from level 2?
Uninsured PMC gear.
Now the question is,
I don't think that's a very cool reward.
I had this idea that I thought was actually fucking game changing, and I doubt that they did this because it involves too much foresight.
Gear?
It would be exactly how it was. So if there was a LEDX in it or a magazine with ammo in it or half-used meds in it, like that would come with it, and it would almost be like a fucking loot box.
You buy a backpack, like but you can't oh my god, that would be so sick, dude.
Now think about all of the wasted ammo and meds and all the other shit you have, like water and food. Like, that should be a part
hideout
of
items.
It.
You know, a guy dies with a Berkut full of freaking light bulbs and drills. You buy his backpack and you're like, yes! Oh my god, that would be so sick. That's 100% not how it works.
Think about all the mags full of like BS or BT, like with 60 rounders, like. Oh.
It would also justify why Fence charges so much damn money for stuff he sells. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's always more expensive than just buying a Berkut. You know what I mean?
And then it makes sense because like loot boxes are always like you're paying 10% more for something than you normally would.
Yeah.
That might be worth 80% of the value, or it might be worth 800% of the value.
And it would encourage more scav on scav karma because everybody would want to attain that level. Scav raids would be heaven. I can't even talk about this anymore because I'm going to be mad it's not real.
Almost heaven, Western Tarkov, Blue Ridge Shoreline.
The other thing, it just says price modifier. I don't know what that means, referring to just price. Hostile bosses at the highest tier scav karma and only the highest tier bosses are not hostile to you. One Peg had a picture of him hanging out with Tagilla just on factory. So they're not hostile to you. So at the highest level, You can hang with them. I don't think they fly.
I gotta talk about Tagilla afterwards.
Oh yeah,
dude.
we're gonna get there. At the lowest level of Scav Karma, all Scavs are aggro to you all the time. So, good luck. Scav attack support is true at level 6, which means that the other Scavs in the area will come and try to help you when you're in a fight. Who knows how well that's working out. And then extraction price modifier. Oh, and your exits. The lower your Scav Karma, the less total exits you have from a map, and the higher, the more. So at the lowest 3 tiers of Karma, you only spawn into a Scav with 1 extract, and at the highest 3 tiers, you spawn in with 5 extracts.
Oh shit.
So easier to get in, do what you need to do, and get out. So interesting stuff.
Huh.
But yeah, Scav Karma for sure. I'm very excited about it. We have to let it play out. We have to let the people who, there's always going to be trolls. And then there are people who don't realize how bad the negative effects are, and they're going to get bad karma, and then they're going to want to turn it around. And then there's a lot of people that are just learning about it. So we have to give it time. Everybody just give it some time. One last thing, and then we can move on. I would love to see even 0.05, even a small amount of positive karma upon getting into a Scav raid, looting some filing cabinets, and leaving. Like, you have to become a part of drama to gain rep. And if you're working for Fence and he's sending you in there to just find stuff, you should gain a small amount of karma for just going in, looting up some stuff, doing your thing, and then bouncing. It shouldn't be something that's farmable or anything too crazy, but for people that don't want to get involved, you know what I mean? They find a flash drive or something and they want to go. I personally feel like just a little bit of karma would be good. I don't think it's going to break anything, and I would encourage people to still avoid combat, avoid being mean, and just scavving.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The one element that and this is what I've been doing, and I wish that it was built into the game. Now, this is one of those things that's like, it's more complicated to implement, and you'd have to be creative, which means, when I say that, it means it's never going to be in the game. But maybe somebody will come up with a clever way of doing it. But, so, like, when you find, let's say, like the Tarcone director's office key for customs, or you know, like the 206 key, or the 3, like a lot of the early quest keys, I've already done all those quests. So if I find one of those keys, a lot of times I scav in, and I scav in with a 206 and a 303 key, but only after I finish both of those fucking quests.
Yes, of course.
You asshole game.
Of course.
But like, so like, if somebody's fucking wiggles at me, I'm like, yes, as I'm like, tell them to come over, and I tell them to stop, and I drop one. I gave a Dude Labs key card.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck it, dude. Here, have this like thing, because I just wanted him to be like fucking wiggle and be excited. I wish there was a way of me of getting rep for
giving people stuff.
The more nebulous helping people.
That'd be cool.
Like, I don't know.
That'd be really
but I
cool.
just wish that I
agree with that.
I gave a dude a Labs fucking key card. Like, that should be, you know.
I actually agree with that. It would encourage like bartering amongst scavs and stuff like that. That'd be really cool. Yo, chat's onto something here. You know, it'd be crazy. Okay, you extract from your scav raid. You got a bunch of loot on you. And there's a number in the middle of the screen. If you give all this to Fence, you get 0.5 karma. And as you drag things to your inventory, it lowers.
It goes down.
And you could like decide what you want to take and what you want to give to Fence. And that could have, it couldn't be a crazy amount. It couldn't be like, you know, one entire point, because then you could farm up. But if it started at like, you know, 0.3 or 0.2, and you could get anywhere.
It should just be like a multiplier based on its monetary value or something.
Yeah.
Because I always have a bunch of like half-used bandages and used like, you know, car med kits. So like, I don't have fucking space. So I'm like the shitty backpack or a shitty rig. I just leave it on the scav.
100%.
It'd be great if I got something for that.
Exactly. And yeah, it would be a multiplier. If you found a Labs key card and you gave that, you could just, you know, you could get a little bit of rep. Stuff, dude, oh my God, that would be so freaking sick. That'd be dope. But we move on because there's so much to talk about. Let's talk about the factory expansion. So my like hot take on the factory expansion is that it's so good and makes me sad a little bit. Like, I think most people are gonna dig it. I think a lot of people, first of all, the map design's great, the aesthetic is cool, factory's cool. I think what I wanted from the factory expansion wasn't what most people wanted. I wanted it like triple the size and triple the amount of PMCs, and I wanted an indoor rumble tumble 14 PMC map that I can go in with a duo and we could sweep it up. But the overwhelming majority, at least what it felt like to me, was guys that grind factory that were like, no, don't take away the spirit of the map. And I don't think they did. So I was a little let down, but I think most people that grind factory will really like it. It's a big new area. It provides a lot of tactical maneuvering. The underground flanks are now so much more accurate.
It's complicated.
100%. And if you know it, you're going to be good at it. And
the sound's fucked now.
Yes.
Like it's
100%.
Sound was never, other than on the stairs, sound was never that big of an issue on factory, just because it was like when there was differences in height, there was almost always other things that would give you like, oh, if you're in the bathroom, I hear tiles.
Like wood, tile, you know what I mean? You knew,
But yeah, in all the new areas, the audio's still broken, so hopefully they can like.
I agree.
Now we're back to fix all the fucking things that have been broken forever. What the fuck?
Yeah,
fix audio, fix the netcode. You know,
I've already seen a lot of that.
The vicious circle.
But it's cool, man. It's cool. The vibe, the aesthetic, the fact that it's never copy and paste, man. You got the crashed helicopter coming through the ceiling. You've got rubble where the wall used to be,
implying that 20 times
it fell down.
I saw the helicopter.
Really? It's cool, man. I like the aesthetic. It's pretty obvious. They have said that factory will have an entrance to labs in the past, and it's pretty obvious that new extraction is it. You got the medical tent, you got the Terror Group lab stuff, and then right behind there's an extract. It's a perfect transition right into labs. You know what I mean?
I hadn't thought about that. Someone was like, yo, labs looks fucking dirty as hell now. I was like,
yeah. I
don't know if they were kidding or not, but okay, that's good to know. Yeah.
So that's got to be where it is. So it's cool, man. I like it a lot. I wanted something different from it. I kind of understand that what I wanted was too much to ask. So I think it's happy. I'm happy that a lot of people are really pumped about it. And Tagilla is a monster. I'm so happy he tries to swing the hammer at you. I'm so happy.
Bro.
I'm so happy.
Did I show you the clip of, because I will after.
I haven't seen it. I've seen like 5 or 6. Omid was just like getting freaking chased down by that man. It's wild.
Bro.
I love it so much.
I've encountered him exactly one time, and it was when I was off stream. I was editing a video and I was just like doing scav runs in between as little breaks. It was a scav. I'm Mosin. Spawned underground. I like ran out to where like the underground hole with like the big silos where it like opens up. And then sprinting towards me is this giant hulk of a man I've never seen before. It didn't even occur to me that it was like Tagilla. And he was like healing. And I turn and he like looks up at me with like his fucking creepy mask, and my Mosin barrel, he stopped with his forehead right on the tip of my Mosin barrel, and I was like, pop, and he just looked at me and stood up, and while he was healing, and he was like this, like while he was healing, like he was like almost as if he was trying to like do the swing animation without the thing in his hand yet. So he was like in my face, and I'm like, oh shit, like trying to bolt. Dude, you couldn't hear my voice. But I was literally like, he chases me down, and he pulls out his gun after he's done healing, and then he goes, nah, pulls out his hammer.
Oh my God.
Dude, I cannot explain to you the fucking, he grabs it, and he just goes, wah,
yep,
wah, wah, and it's like this fucking sick animation, dude. And your screen is like, boom, and blurry, and you're like, wah. Oh, like he totally fucks you up, but it doesn't kill you. He hit me like 6 times.
Yep.
And it was like, I could tell my character's collarbone was broken. His shoulder was dislocated. His nose was broken. I could tell 3 teeth fell out.
Dude, it's
and then
so good.
I'm backing up around the fucking thing as I'm just like limping, and I'm trying to reload, put the fucking put the bullet in.
Come on.
And then after that, he kind of slowly falls behind the silo. And I'm like, what the fuck? And then he goes with the shotgun and lays me out. And I was like,
bro,
holy fuck, dude. It's literally, it gives me chills.
Yeah.
It gives me chills.
I've only ran into him twice, and it definitely feels like the crown jewel of their boss AI. Every other boss, most of the other bosses, their cronies like destroy any cool element. Like when Sanitar's dude one taps me from 90 meters away while I'm watching Sanitar heal, because that's what makes him cool, is he's gonna heal and pop stims and then I die. And then the only other boss that's solo is Killa, and he just 360 no scopes you because he only ever uses his gun. Tagilla feels like everything. I've seen so many clips. I've seen him in raid twice. If it's crazy, if he's in a certain proximity, he's gonna try to use the hammer. The hammer animation is really cool. It's not stuttery. It's not gross. He doesn't clip through things. If he hits you, he doesn't one tap. He doesn't instant kill you. But I've heard, I think one tag was saying it's an instant fracture on whatever thing he hits you. Arm, leg, arm. So he's fracturing you. If he hits your leg and you're not pre-pained, now you can't move, and he's just gonna hit you and hit you and hit you, and you're like trying to back up.
I have to play this clip. I have to play this clip.
It's insane.
If I play it, will you be able to see it?
If you put it on your stream, yeah, because I've got your stream up on my other monitor.
All right, let me fucking do this.
And then you send it to me, and I'll put it in. We're at about an hour in. I'll put it in the freaking podcast.
Okay, perfect. I need to turn the sound up. Here we go.
Do. Oh my God. Bro, you're so messed up when you're backing up trying to reload. You've got heavy bleeds, fractures, black legs.
Fucked me up.
Oh my God. Everything, see, that's exactly what I'm saying. Everything about that was sick. He was healing. He looked at you. He like taunted you. He went for the hammer. Then he swapped to his other weapon because you were out of his zone. Like, it's so fun. And I'm so happy about Tagilla, dude. The other thing is, you know what I told you, exactly what I told you I was worried about. I'm worried about the power creep. They've got 4,700 HP and nothing is fun and you can't do anything about it. First of all, I like that he's armored because immersion, at least in my head, it makes sense when I'm shooting somebody and it doesn't hurt them. But they kind of struck the perfect balance on he's tanky. Like, he's really tanky. Me and Lennon went into factory last night and Lennon shot him like 5 times. We thought it was just a normal scav. Then I peeked and I shot him in the head twice. And then he turned around and we saw the mask and we were both reloading and we were like, oh no! And he just ran down the hall and I dumped a full mag of 7.62 PS and I ended up getting him. And it was super fun.
Did you go for his head?
He was right up. I was just point firing.
Okay.
I ended up zeroing his class 6 rig.
Fucking A, dude.
His loot is crazy too. Class 6 armored rig. That's the only one of those in the game. It's really small though, and I like that. You have 6 1x2s. That's it. I like that it's small. Yo, did you see the bug with his mask? Bro, I think they patched it though. That's what I'm saying. For a minute, you could wear like a Wendy helmet with quad nods, or even a Killa helmet underneath the class 5 face shield that is his helmet.
So that's the thing, is that like it wasn't like, that doesn't mean you have a class 11.
No,
it was similar to how you used to be able to stack your armored rigs on top of your body armor.
Yeah.
It was one of those things that like in certain situations is a game changer, in a lot of situations is kind of irrelevant.
Mean anything.
If you have M62 or M61, it's still going to be like 2 or 3 shots regardless.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So,
but what made the most sense was because his face shield does not protect the back of your head. So what made the most sense was wearing a Wendy helmet and quad nods, because now you have class 4, class 5, and quad nods, and you can go night vision and you're basically unkillable because everybody else is running, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
But thankfully that was taken down. But
you can wear headphones with his mask, right?
And you can wear headphones with his mask.
You know what? I think I'm gonna that might be just like what I run all day every day then.
You know what's crazy? His class 6 armor on the Flea is going for 150,000 rubles, and that class 5 face shield is going for 600,000. because you were going to headphones.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense. I mean, it's the equivalent of like the Shattered Mask, but 5 levels higher. Like, getting shot in the back of the head is never really an issue.
Yeah, not normally.
I mean, like, if I'm gonna get shot in the back of the head, they can shoot me twice in the head. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter. So yeah, the fact that you can wear, and it's got a way bigger FOV than the Killa,
or the Killa
and the Alden. Like, it's fine. It's fine. It's not even really that bad. So
it's whack. It's crazy. But dude, Tagilla, yeah, I love it, man. It's been cool. It's been cool. I haven't gotten a mutant yet. I wanted to, the time I killed him, he had a shotgun, not the mutant. Performance of the game has been good, but nothing different.
Same as pre-patch. 100%. Nothing different for me.
100%.
I still had the same netcode. Like, nothing's changed with the netcode. We didn't expect anything to change with the netcode, but still have on day one. There was a lot of like the kind of sputtery things.
100%. They added an NVIDIA Reflex. I turned it on. I can't tell that I turned it on, but the thing is I didn't know. I didn't know if it's for me, right? Like, I've got a 3090 and a 5900X on my gaming PC. Like, is it gonna help? I don't know. You know what I mean? Other people might have been turning it on and feeling it, but I haven't. So I'm always like, try it.
Like, dude, you'd be surprised how many people are like, dude, I feel it. There's a huge difference. All my desync went away. And I was like,
no, that's just not how that
bro,
works.
It's not. And this just solidifies all the. And if you're one of those people, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to pick on you, but like, that's like saying you fixed your carburetor and your heating bill in your house went down. Like, it just doesn't.
Yeah, I turned on NVIDIA Reflex and the audio sound. It's like.
I turn on NVIDIA Reflex and my my herpes went away.
It fixed Steam Audio. You know how Steam Audio was broken? Now it's fixed.
My credit score went up. Yeah, so
try it for sure.
That's just one of those things where when people are like, and this has nothing to do with Reflex. It's more just along the lines of when people are like, I have this experience and my analysis of this experience is accurate and you need to take my word for it.
Mm-hmm.
I use NVIDIA and it works great. Just like I use Steam Audio and it works good or works bad, or I use this and it works good or works bad. It's like half of the people that have been talking about NVIDIA Reflex had thought that it had to do with lag to the servers.
Yeah.
When it's an input lag, like mouse controller, keyboard,
Yes. So definitely check it on, try it out, do the thing, and hopefully it helps.
Yeah, so the only difference I've noticed is that I was able to, before I used to have it so that when I was full screen, if I turned on VSync in-game, off in NVIDIA control panel, that was how I uncapped my frames.
Yes.
It would say, now back in the day, it used to say -1. That was like knowing that it was uncapped, like it was infinite.
Yeah.
Then they changed it to where you would uncap it. It would say limit 60,
but then it would show you
would be
the
getting
frames.
150, 160, whatever. Now it says limit INF as an infinite, and I can turn off VSync in game. So what I want to do is turn it on NVIDIA control panel now, because I get screen tearing when I'm recording. So I wonder if maybe now, like that'll be nice if I can basically get no change in frames, but still get uncapped frame rate in full screen with VSync.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about any of this stuff.
Testing
all I know is that it has nothing to do with networking.
Yeah, correct. The next.
Also, they changed the FPS commands. FPS 1 gives you something different. I forget now what the fuck it is.
Forget too.
I have to do FPS 2 now
to get the RTT.
So I want player RTT because that's what whenever I have a bad time, it's always like, oh, player RTT fucking spiked up. This,
Yep.
It makes me feel better when I see that number fucking spike up when something felt bad.
Yep.
It just makes me feel good. And if you don't know what player RTT is, watch my fucking netcode video. Come into my chat and use the _netcode command and watch the fucking video.
Yep. The next big thing that we can work through is just the flea market being changed to a level 20 level, and the general changes to progression that have happened. So my take on this is evolving, which is exactly what I said in my video about it, and which is exactly the same thing. The two questions are like, what do you think about Scav Karma? What do you think about level 20 Flea? And the thing I keep saying is exactly 2 days is not long enough. Like, to make a change to the economy of a game, 48 hours is not long enough to determine how effective it was. Now,
all we can say is the first 3 days of the wipe
yes,
seem to go better than previous first 3 days of wipes.
Now, if you're frustrated because you played as much as you could last wipe and got to level 12, that I understand, and I'm not here to say play more, play less, whatever. I can understand that frustration, but we have to separate it from this was a bad change or this didn't work or whatever, because like it's just too early to tell. I will say that initially, here's my thoughts on it. Initially, I was like, I don't like this change because I didn't say this because I didn't want to start a war in chat, but initially, like in my brain, I was like, I don't like this change because all it's going to do is basically timed release. Like everything that's wrong from before is just going to happen 6 days later. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's going to be nothing. I'm full 180 on that, by the way. First of all, they made every single level require more XP. So, you know, get level 1, 2. Second of all, I hadn't really considered this at the time, but Pesley said it. Getting from 10 to 20 takes like 3 times as long as 1 to 10. So 1 to 10 to level, it's like that's for more casual players. I'm like, that's a much bigger time commitment. So instead of basically like in the previous patches, like by day 7, it's like a tidal wave, right? Like everybody that's really into the game is level 10. Everybody. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's a tidal wave of the Flea. Everything goes whoosh on the flea market. Bolts 70K, corrugated hoses 120K. Everything goes nuts. And then 2 months later, it all evens back out. I think this is going to fundamentally change how the flea market works because I think it's going to be a trickle. Like I think the 70% of players that got level 10 in 1 week, now 10% of them are going to get it in a week. 15% are going to get it the second week. 20% of them are going to get it the third week. And that is going to change how valuable things are, in addition to needing different things by level 20.
Yeah, so, it's going to take, so like if you have the full length of a wipe, before it was like, you just, the line was instantly here 3 days in. Now what it does is it takes that whole line and it kind of smooths it out a little bit more to where there's going to be a lot more of the casual people are going to be in that initial area for a lot longer, which means throughout the wipe, I think a lot more, like there's going to be a longer demand for you know, things like Saluas or I don't know, I forget what a lot of the questing, crafting, hideout items,
a longer demand for those things and a smaller spike in price, like because the demand will be the demand at any given moment will be so much less. The price won't be as high, but that demand will last longer. Instead of bolts going from 0 to 90K to 12K, they'll be 28K for 4 months. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, so,
which is more of a realistic, stable market.
So I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if I think it's like still overwhelmingly a good or a bad change, but here's things we have to think about. One, it's a change that is meaningful. They don't always all have to be good. We are here. This is what we want from BSG, right? Like, we don't want freaking stuff that like a 13-year-old could have poked holes in. You know what I mean? Like, hey, Scav Karma, if I shoot you, should you have Jimmy, should you have bad karma for shooting? Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we don't want that.
Probably.
We want changes. So whether you like it or not, like, let's see how this, you know, plays out. And it definitely made getting level 20. I hit it last night. Like, I just like sat there and I was like, damn. I was like, we did it, chat. You know what I mean? It took me like 40 hours of playtime.
It was a milestone.
Yeah, it took me like 40 hours of playtime. Instead of, I hit the flea market and then I upgraded 8 different nodes in my hideout. And not because I had the money to buy all the things, because I was only one thing away from 8 different things. Because it took so much longer for me to hit it, I had looted so much more. So I spent an infinite amount less money on the flea market when I hit it because I needed so much less, and I only needed a few tinker things for a bunch, and I just went boom, 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 and then I made a bunch of space in my stash. So I was like, man, it's really interesting. The prices of things are crazy, man. Bolts are like 6K, like it's dude, it's
so everything's low,
so low. I mean, of course, you've got like certain stuff like that Tagilla mask,
because that makes sense, because there's all of the people that have grinded. None of the early stuff.
They don't need it.
They don't need it.
They don't need it, and they don't have anyone to sell to. That's what I said in my video.
We need to wait until.
That's what I said in my video. I was like, everybody. Not everybody. I don't know how do I say this. Some casual players hate that Chads have hundreds of millions of rubles, but they want access to the flea market. And in my video, I was like, they make their hundreds and millions of rubles off of you. They farm it up. You get to the flea market and you don't want to go to interchange on your scav run and farm it. They sell it to you for 42 times what it's worth. Like, where do you think they're making their money? Nobody's got 600 million rubles right now because Willers doesn't have anyone to sell bolts to. He can only sell them for 11K, not 50K.
So that being the case, all he can do is, like, the only value that you can gain is as much per slot as you can carry out of a raid with you.
Yes.
It's no longer a infinitely, fucking exponentially larger, because
once again, I'm not here to say JesseKazam seal of approval. I don't know if this is a good change or not, but we need to talk about this stuff. We need to talk about these subtle changes to the economy, because, like, you can't just have it both ways. You can't be like, I want to have the flea market and be able to buy whatever I want, but I don't like people making money off of the things I buy from them. It's like, no, that's not how it works. They make their money selling you that stuff, dude. So if you don't want them to have their money, go find it. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, they're still gonna make their money. We're still gonna have Tarkov 100 millionaires. You know what I mean? Like, of course. But it's just, I don't know. It's been really interesting. They made XP for levels more. You know how 40 was the soft cap? Like, at level 40, you got all traders to the crown level, to max level. It's like 45 now. Like, they've data mined it, and like proppers, like, or one like mechanic or something. That
doesn't seem significant though.
Well, it's not huge, but it's pushing everything. Once again, if every level requires a little bit more XP, then getting to 45 takes...
Oh, it's probably closer to, like, getting to 60.
Yeah, gets hundreds of thousands of more XP, totally. Yeah. So that's pretty significant. The big rumor going around, I don't know, bro. Apparently, it was data mined that to get Kappa, it requires level 71. I don't know if that's true or not.
Yeah.
Max level 79 now. That was in the patch notes.
I didn't even get the 60 last patch.
No, me either, bro. That's what I'm saying. Like, the cap, if that's true, that's such a dumb change, in my opinion. I don't see the value in that. The Kappa container literally hurts no one. It provides no advantage over... If you've got the Kappa container, it means you've completed all the quests. So the ability to, like, hike up quest items that you need, that a standard account plant, you don't have quest items anymore. You're just, you know what I mean? It's like, so like 63 players are gonna get Kappa this wipe, and it's like, why have it in the game, dude? Like, you just 2 weeks ago.
Do you think it's just people complaining? Is it just people complaining?
But that's what's weird. I've never heard a single person complain about, like, even from a casual player, that the Kappa's too easy to get or it provides an advantage over me. I haven't heard that. 2 weeks ago, BSG tweeted out statistics saying that, like, 0.01% of all players got Kappa. At the and what?
To me, the most likely explanation is... So we've been talking about, in this conversation, extending how long it takes this is something that, like, I won't name any names because I honestly don't know any off the top of my head, but I feel like that sort of thing came from content creators saying, all I can do is get Kappa and then the game dies after that. So Battlestate's like, cool, I'm going to make everything take 10% longer and then the Kappa take 500% longer so that you have something to work towards. It's just going to be people grinding labs, farming raiders for 20k XP
100%
over and over and over again, which maybe that'll water down cheaters, or maybe it'll just make it so that nobody will fucking do it. I don't know.
And like I said, it doesn't matter. I don't care. Like, and that's what's the thing is like I don't care. I don't care if I have Kappa. Like I'm not salty because like if it's 71, it's off the table for me, right? like the highest I've ever gotten was level 61, and that was the last wipe, the longest one we ever had.
Unless they're planning on going much longer. I don't know.
That's the other thing. That's the other conspiracy is that they're like, this is going to be a year-long wipe, which maybe it is. So like my quality of life playing this video game increases a minuscule amount, if at all, if I have Kappa or not. I don't care. It's just one of those things where from a like logic perspective, I just don't understand it because anybody that was on the fence, like maybe I'll grind for Kappa this wipe, like maybe. They're not.
So I feel like what they
like,
should have done is add the fucking Omnicron.
Yes.
Make it a little bit better or different than the Kappa and put that at 71.
It wouldn't even have to be better than Kappa, to be honest with you. Anything to grind for is a thing to grind for.
It would have to be different, but
different. If it was worse, I could make an argument.
A fanny pack. If they had level 71 and you got the fanny pack and it was a fucking 1x3.
Yes. Or the Omnicron was supposed to be, apparently it was the size of the Kappa, but 3 of the cells were single cells, unattached. That's arguably worse than the Kappa container.
You have like a dog tag case, a key bar, and
I could make an argument. I could make an argument that the Twitch Rivals armband is a bad thing to have. It is a giant purple Barney stripe on your arm. People were paying 25 graphics cards for it. Why? It's a thing to grind for, right? If they put the Omnicron in, made it no better, potentially even worse than the Kappa, put that at level 71, it fixes the issue, 100%. So I was now we don't know. We don't know.
The question is why.
Exactly. That's the thing. So we don't know if it's real. We don't know if they're going to change it. We don't know if it's a bug, but it's just data mined. But anyways, it's the point of it. The level 20 Flea and the progression changes to the game have been so interesting. They've been more significant than I thought they were. And you think about last wipe versus this wipe. We had on day 7 of the wipe, everybody in the entire game got 900 rounds of BP and a few AKs, right? And then 12 days into the wipe, you had people with already 100 million rubles and everybody was on the Flea and everybody was doing everything. And then 2 months into the wipe, you had Bitcoin farms going up, selling Bitcoin for 900,000 rubles per Bitcoin. So like
to the
traders. So that, and then this wipe where it's like, nobody got a Christmas gift. The flea market is harder to attain. These early game fights are lasting longer, and we have no idea. The Bitcoin is still in the game, but they've changed it. Like several quests that used to give you a Bitcoin now give you different things. Like there's one quest that gives you a graphics card instead of Bitcoin. So I'm so interested to see how this plays out. I still don't have like a full jury's out opinion on the level 20 Flea, but it made attaining the Flea feel a lot better, and I'm very interested to see how this whole wipe plays out. Very, very interesting.
I'm like 1 or 2 good raids away from it.
Yeah.
I just got too fed up last night because
I
had
like
no
level
space.
19 last night, right? I popped
level 19, but like 5 raids in a row, I'd get into queue, and my stash is just full of shit, and I hate wasting my time. I just want to play, right?
Yeah.
I've got a stash literally full of all the stuff, right? Sugar,
100%.
fucking croutons, just all the crafting stuff, all the quest stuff. Like, I know I need this. I don't know how many. I don't know for what. I'm just going to grab it because I don't feel like taking like an hour. I'll get an Excel spreadsheet and I'll waste a whole afternoon going through my inventory, all to do like 2 quests and have all of it be gone. Be like, oh shit, So I've just been kind of procrastinating. But it's been super frustrating because I just haven't had space to move anything over or to build guns, and the fact that I don't have linked search means
so
like
annoying.
Building guns is wicked annoying, and like that's the only thing is I think they need to decouple linked search from the flea market.
I completely agree. Just only show the trader.
Different.
Yeah,
just only show the trader. So I would just spend all this time. It would take me so long to get into a raid, to get everything all together, to get the ammo, whatever, and then it would take forever to get into a queue. And then I'd go and instantly die to, some form of bullshit. And then now the issue I have is not the healing screen issue. It's after that, which I think that they probably changed it. Before, you probably had all that loading, and it was probably done at the same time or before the healing screen stuff. Now I hit apply and everything goes away.
And then
all I see is a blank screen with loading for a minute.
That's crazy.
So it's like this is the third iteration of the fucking healing screen bug.
And I've never had it in any iteration. It's so
you're
weird.
A piece of shit.
I know, dude. Seal has it all the time. We both die. I'm in lobby with my new gear set on, and he's like, "Imagine being back at your stash." Like he's just sitting there
just looking at his dinner.
Dude, I don't know.
I sent the logs to Nikita. And Nikita was like a week ago before the wipe. I'm like, "Hey, this issue's still in. Like, is it going to be fixed?" And he's like, "Oh, you need to send us logs," which is like makes me think like, "Oh, they haven't fucking figured it out yet."
Yeah. So hopefully that, but I'm so interested, man. I'm so interested to see how long these early game fights happen, how much happens. The other thing that I think we can both agree on that I want to say to everybody like listening or watching is like, please don't watch.
Subscribe with Twitch Prime. Oh, sorry.
No, that was a bad time. Please do not subscribe. Please don't compare. Please don't let a streamer's experience be your experience. I feel like so many people come in and they're like frustrated that, you know, quote unquote, everybody's got level 5 and 6 armor because Landmark is running level 5 and 6 armor. It's like, I have not run into a PMC yet with level 5 armor. I haven't. I'm at a 73% survival rate. I'm not trying to brag. It's the best start to a wipe I've ever had in my life. So it's not even that I'm dying a lot, right? 73% survival rate. I'm level 21. I've got like 60 raids in. And I'm not saying no players have level 5 armor. But what I'm saying is like, don't say that it's all over already. We got people, when you see Landmark, like he's put 70 hours in since the wipe and he's put 6,000 hours in. Of course that dude is rocking around with a slick and quad nods and an Alton or whatever. Like, of course he is, but like, play your raids.
It's the same thing.
Play your raids.
It's the same thing with NVIDIA Reflex fixing my lag to the server, quote unquote. It's that what happens is they go and they have one of these situations where they're using PSO 9mm ammo and they come across a raider wearing level 5 and they think it's a player and they think he's wearing some epic armor or whatever. Like, and like, then they blame it on players being fucking chads, or like it's almost all too often people's complaints are about the wrong thing.
Yes, and don't complain about things you haven't, and not complain. Don't be not even complain. Don't be concerned with things. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just because Desmond is level 38, like if you're level 6, that's fine. This wipe has been out for 4 days. Like, so that's my thing is don't try and speed run the game. Don't be too concerned with that. Don't be frustrated that everybody's cheating. Everybody's got class 6 armor. Everybody's got that. If you're watching those things, if you're watching those things, this has been, I've come across one suspicious encounter. I haven't come across a single PMC with level 5 armor. I've died to crappy ammo, shots in the face because I play to fight. Just play your raids. And I promise you, the game is not as bad as, a YouTube comment section would have you believe. You know what I mean? It's like really not. Like, of course, there's still like, this is all on the foundation of everything you and me always talk about. The core pillar issues of the game are still here. Audio, movement, netcode, they haven't been changed, but they weren't addressed as changes in this patch. But other than that, man, I don't know. It's just, ugh. Anyways, the next thing, dude, the weapon durability. This is a little spicy. I don't know if you've had malfunctions yet.
I've had on a Scav, I've had malfunctions on my Scavs a lot more. I've only had one as a PMC. Mm-hmm. The best part, dude, the best one on a Scav run was there was a guy, I was on a Scav and I'm like trying to figure out, I heard gunshots and I saw a Scav running and I'm like, chat, is he good or bad? Like, do I kill? Like, thumbs up or thumbs down, Caesar? Like, fucking tell me. And it was like totally split. And the guy was running and I was up on the scaffolding and he was going to gate 3 and I had my pistol and it was like perfect flick to the head, click, malfunction. The first bullet was like, I guess the fucking gods
have spoken.
It was a god tier flick and it was just like, click, malfunction. The first bullet. I was like, no, dude.
That's so funny.
But yeah, I mean, like the biggest impact for me is is less about like me losing fights or dying to those things, because so far it's only ever been funny.
Yeah.
but maybe that's because like I put myself in situations where like I'm close to cover, so if it's not the end of the world. But to me, it's just I like 1 out of every 10 guns I can sell to traders. So like guns are almost never worth like they weren't worth looting really before unless you were going to use them. Now they're not even worth looting most of the time, even if you're going to use them because they're so fucked.
That's another subtle progression thing. Leveling your traders by funneling money through them all was so on the back of taking scav guns I didn't want out, but I had space for them, and then selling them to Skier, Proper Mechanic, and Jaeger. You can't do that. So that's another progression thing that they slowed down. It's harder to level your traders with the money that you funnel through them because you don't have those guns. I am very interested. I've only malfunctioned a few times. I think some of the concern out there in the universe is like a gun at 100% durability shouldn't malfunction. And I kind of don't disagree. Like, yeah, in real life, a gun can malfunction at any time. But it's like, as a game mechanic, like the crazy RNG of like, you know what I mean? Imagine if that wasn't just a dude running by, it was a dude trying to get a shot on you, and you're like, click, and you had a LEDX, and you're like, woof. You know what I mean? But what I'm more interested in is the long term. Have you noticed any of the durability burn stats on items?
I have like plus 15, plus 17, but like when you give me, when I'm given plus 15, I have no idea if that's the low end of the range, if that's the high end of the range, and what it's 15% of. Like it's a meaningless, it's just a relative. They might as well just give me a score from A to F. Like that's so much more meaningful.
I get it. Suppressors, I have picked up a suppressor in game with a durability burn of plus 75%.
Holy fuck.
So
dude.
There's your range. I don't think things go. I don't think there's anything in the game.
Oh yeah, the KAC, this is like the M4 suppressor. That one's 75%. I was looking at like PST is like 15%.
So here's the thing. I don't know that we'll see things with 100%, but suppressors and ammo do a pretty significant amount. So I'm interested at the long-term meta gun thing. But that's the thing. We don't know yet, Veritas. Like, we have no idea how much that is. I went on like an 8 raid streak with an AKM or something with PS that wasn't unsuppressed. An 8K streak, and it was at like 89 durability. So it does not go quick. But here's the thing though. Here's the thing. It's not based on time in raid though. That's the thing. It's based on shots, and I've been playing my raids really low. Here's what I'm saying. I'm interested at a suppressed M4 with only 60 round mags. I'm pretty sure mags have a durability burn too. I think 60 round mags, high pressure ammo, suppressed gun. If you're mag dumping,
ooh, that's a science. That's a science test if I've ever fucking seen it.
What does a holding left click? M61 is 80%. Oh yeah, AP20 is 120%. You're right.
So I would just need to get like 1,000 rounds of whatever, and just go into offline mode and just hold down mouse 1 and count how many things, and then you get a percentage.
100%. So that's what I want to know. Like the weapon durability hasn't been that big of a game changer in the early game, and I'm okay with that. If this like inverts the scale of the economy, where the first few days of the game it's super fun, and then the last part of the wipe it kind of sucks because everybody's got money. If we flip this where weapon jams don't happen very often in early game, but at the end when you've got a 60 round mag, high pressure ammo, and a suppressed gun, you can't just like mag dump, reload, mag dump, reload, mag dump, reload, and your gun's at 12% durability.
It makes it so that there's like a 1 in 5 chance that when the Uber Chad jumps out with a drum mag on his SA-58, you don't just insta-die. He goes, click, oh, fuck, and then you're like,
yeah,
you know,
dude.
like,
and imagine he's got a ULAC on, and you're, a level 7 with your Grotch, and you go, bam, and you get a headshot on him. Like, hell yeah, you know what I mean? I'm cool with that.
The big piece here to me is you have to think about, I'm trying to think about all the different pieces. So imagine you have an M4 that's all decked out, suppressor, whatever. If you build it new, everything's going to be at 100%.
Yeah.
Most people aren't going to survive that many raids in a row, right? So like, let's say you play 2 or 3 or 4 raids with a gun if you're lucky. If it gets to the point where like if it lasts let's just say the threshold is like 70%, where most people are going to come up with their own little heuristic around like, I'm not going to use this after that. You're going to kill somebody, and it's going to be their 4th or 5th raid. It's going to be less interesting to pick up their shit because it's going to be fucked. So then that means it's going to go in the insurance for Fence, which means like Fence is going to have a lot of like meta guns that have all just been ground down to shit. But like, it's going to be fucking super. It
depends on what the repairability is like. That's the thing. It's like you might pick up that gun and then have to make a decision on, do I use this gun because it could jam, or do I use my kind of crappy gun that I brought in because it's 100%? And then
the durability on guns is like, it's like 10 points when you repair them. Like, it's not like armor where it's like you lose 10%. So if it goes down to 0, you can repair it up to like 90% of what it was at. Now it's like you can only ever repair it a little bit. Now, I'm sure with the skill, like the weapon repair skill and stuff, it'll probably fix it. But overall, I've not been able to get a gun, repair it, and then sell it to a trader. It won't put it over the threshold.
Well, that's 2 different things though, because that is all the scav guns. Basically, the scav guns act as armor that's been crushed and repaired 10 times. It's like, you know how the more you repair an armor each time, when you pick up a scav gun, that red, that's like the highest you can repair it. But a fresh gun that's been ground down to 10 durability, you can repair up to like 80%.
Oh, okay. I guess I haven't come across any of those.
It's just the stupid. And I think that mechanic is a little dumb. Like, I think all scav guns are like capped that you can't repair them. Exactly like you said, you can't repair them above the durability needed to send to the trader. And I wish it was a range. I wish it was like the max durability of a scav run can be anywhere from 50 to 75%. You can't get it to 100%, but certain guns, if you find a good one, you want to take it because you can repair it, sell it to proper, whatever.
Yeah.
But if you bought a new M4 and ground it down to 50% durability, you could repair it up to like 80 or 90. I haven't, but I have repaired that AK. I did repair it. It was like at 86%. I was like, oh, and I repaired it up to like 98 or something.
Oh, okay.
So I'd be interested to see. So once again, it's another we have to wait and see thing. But what I'm hoping is that it's not a big deal early wipe, and I'm okay with that because we have enough going on early wipe. And later in the wipe, it gives something. It might help with mag dump meta. It might help with pre-fire meta. It might help with you give that dude a 1% chance that the gun malfunctions, and now you stand a chance to kill me. I'm interested to see how it plays out long term. Basically,
we'll see.
Basically, what else? Oh, have you seen the sorting table? Glory.
Yes,
Hallelujah.
It's one of those things that seems cool. Once I found out you can shift click and it moves stuff over, because I tried every combination except shift click. So you can shift click and it'll move stuff from your stash into the sorting table, and then control click to move it back. But honestly, I haven't used I haven't had a use case for the sorting table. The only time that's ever happened is when I'm a scav and I'm trying to move my shit over, but you can't use it then.
Yes. That is, I wish we could use it on our scavs, but the more I'm playing, the more I'm finding that I'm doing really weird, stupid stuff that I've been trained to do. And then chat goes, use the sorting table. And I'm like, I made that 10 times harder on myself. Like, it's for people that have played a lot, we're not using it because we're not used to it. But it's a game changer. When you're trying to get a backpack at the bottom of the stack, or when I move this pilgrim, it's like I already have a backpack on and I can't put my backpack in my inventory, so I can put the pilgrim on to put the backpack in. Like,
oh yeah, I haven't really had that many backpacks, honestly. Yeah. So maybe that's why.
One day you're gonna be like, this is dope, and it's infinite space. You can put as much as you want in there.
Yeah, it auto expands.
And it just that was just a cool little quality of life thing. I was like, hell yeah.
Nice.
You put in there accuracy, sway, recoil control. What do you mean?
That was me talking about like when I miss shots. There's like 19 different variables. So I'm like, why did I miss?
Yeah,
was it the optics? Was it the sway? Was it the skills? Was it the ammo? Was it the durability? Was it netcode? Was it hit reg? What or did I just miss? I have no idea.
Bro, the fights have been so fun. Like you said this earlier, but you're like, I gotta have a pack on, and fights last 10 minutes. You know what I mean?
Dude, my first
like, I love it so much.
My first video was like an immersion video. I did a customs run. It was pretty sick. My second video of the patch highlights was day 1, and it was my second raid, and it was a factory raid where I had a shotgun, and it was like I killed like 3 PMCs, and it was just I healed like a fucking 50 times. I went through like almost an entire grizzly and like a serve or like a CMS in like one factory raid. It was sick, you know. I just liked that I was getting shot and not insta dying.
Yep.
It just makes the game so much better, and that's what it just. Oh, man, honestly, if PMCs like if the game was the old meta with you know, everybody's wearing Uber stuff and wearing level fucking 19 everything, but we all had 10,000 HP, it would be roughly the same. Where
yeah,
cool
yeah,
you know what
exactly.
I mean? Like, just let me fucking survive longer, you know?
Yeah. Or we were all using like like HP ammo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, 100%. It's just, it feels good. It feels good. Like, I know that I have ammo that's not so good that I'm going to one-tap an enemy, and I'm missing my shots because of the recoil of a gun. Like, you know, when you play so much, man, I'm so used to the Chad life at the end of a wipe. You know what I mean? Like, first raid customs, you got that stock M4, you push, you swing a corner, and you're like, and you're like, oh no, like I can't switch to semi, bro, because full auto is basically useless. Like, that
was the end of my factory raid. I was literally 10 feet from a scav, strafing, but using the iron sights. I'm like, and the dude's just like slowly backing up, and I'm like, I forgot I'm playing Tarkov. Like, I just ran out. I'm like, I didn't even try to kill him. I missed every fucking bullet. Yep. Every bullet.
So it like feels good to miss shots, to hit shots that aren't always headshots, to like still clean up and get really good. Like, I don't know, man. It's been fun. It's I mean, we say this every time. It's not like it's anything new. It's just hopefully this lasts a little bit longer. And like we said earlier, hopefully it's not like a tidal wave. Hopefully it just doesn't flip one day and we're like, yeah, you know, we can all afford Gen 4s now. You know what I mean? And hopefully it extends and it trickles on and once again, and then you play it based on your raids. Like, you know what I mean? Maybe you don't run into a lot of people with high-end gear. Well, then keep playing, man. Do your thing. Like, I don't know.
Yep.
It's good. It's good. I'm super sad I don't think the Scar's in the game.
Yeah, if nobody's found it yet.
No, it's on the flea market. You can't find it. I'm sad.
Yeah, I doubt it. I doubt it. I was super stoked. My first marked room, or like my second or third marked room, I got a key bar. And the key bar had.
I hate you.
The key bar had the checkpoint key and a factory key. Now I have found 4 factory keys and I have like 4 checkpoint keys. And then I got 1 key, that PKPM. I don't know what that is.
Dude, I forget. I don't have a key bar yet or a docs case, and it's killing me, dude.
It sucks. Yeah, dude, it's tough. And the next raid after that,
it's killing me.
I had the total karmic fuck you. It was 2 Tawses, like in a fucking like cross, just sitting there, and like, you fucking asshole. Like, oh god.
Docs cases are 600k. Key tools are like 800k on the flea market. Like, I'm running around with like 7 keys in my gamma and no meds.
How much are marked room keys?
That's a good call, because I do not have a marked room key either. Dorm marked room key, 910,000 rubles.
Ooh, what about factory keys?
To be honest with you, you could probably make that money back, you know, obviously in 25 marked rooms, but I just don't really feel like doing that. Factory keys are 60k.
Oh, okay, so then those are common enough that they're selling to
I've
traders.
only found one, but yeah. So.
Well, I have one that's like 40 out of 50 uses, and then I have 1 found in raid, 1 not found. I'm just gonna sell another one of those because I only have 50,000 rubles, so I need to.
Oh, jeez.
But I've got a ton of shit, like a ton of valuable shit. Like, I've got ophthalmoscopes and golden clocks, and I've got a fucking Tetris and just a bunch of stuff that I'm like, I don't remember what I need. I got a 100%. Graphics card. I just, yeah, I'm.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's been good. I've been loving it. But yeah, I think that's about it. I think that's mostly the new things. It'll be interesting to see over the next few weeks, like how things go, how many people are level 20, if any new things pop up. We're actually getting a BSG podcast tomorrow. Did you see that?
Nope.
They're doing a Tarkov TV live which as far as I remember is traditionally the podcast that they do before a patch where it's just the devs talking about the game while like somebody's playing.
Mm-hmm.
We normally get that right before a patch, and then they said no podcast before a patch, and then now we're getting
where
that.
the dude gets killed by a guy that's like Stream Sniper BSG lol or whatever.
Yeah.
Like.
We're doing that. They're doing that tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern time. So maybe next week we'll have some stuff to talk about. I mean, I don't imagine it's going to be new information. I imagine they're going to be talking about the patch and answering questions about the patch, but we'll see. But yeah, so thank you guys for hanging with us. This was good. This was a little out of the schedule, but we both wanted to get in the game a little bit and play it and like get close to 20 and just kind of get there before we talked about it. But I'm really interested to see how the white plays out. I'm super excited. So thank you guys for hanging. I will have this. It's Sunday, so first thing tomorrow morning, I'm going to edit this and put this out so we won't be too behind on information. And then we'll be back probably to the normal schedule on Thursdays this week. Thank you guys for hanging, and we will definitely see y'all on the next one.
Peace.